In my deepest dreams, I never could have imagined what a year it would be for remasters of games. I didn't think that a lot of games would get the remaster treatment that they did. And while it has been shocking and exciting, the one that hit the most for me has been the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Angelica Tosh is an Elder Scrolls YouTuber who I watch, and she was streaming the announcement of the remaster, and I got so hyped. But when they announced that it was dropping immediately after the announcement, my fucking mouth dropped. I let out a strange noise of excitement and disbelief that went like, oh, no way. How the fuck was I supposed to go to work now? This was so unfair. I'm supposed to just continue my adult shit knowing I could be playing Oblivion right now? But due to it being 120 gigabytes, I didn't really have a choice but to wait till after work. I was still pumped to play though. So, this is more of my thoughts on the remaster and not really a review of Oblivion. I already have an hour-and-a-half review of the original Oblivion, so I can leave that in the comments if you want to watch that. What's new and different with the remaster? Well, first off, the graphics. These are just far, far prettier than the original in every way. If it's raining, you look slightly wet. If it's snowing, you have light snow on you. The lighting in the caves is a lot more natural as long as you don't think too hard about it. And so many items and enemies got massive glow-ups. Next is the leveling. It is far improved and will help new players jump into it without having to do things like min-max. And even veteran players such as myself just enjoy it more. There are people I know who wouldn't even play the game because of the old leveling who are now playing the remaster happily. There's a lot of extra beauty to this world and I think it really brings it out. I found myself really taking it all in and being blown away by so many things. The armor looks so much better in my opinion, and so do the faces and the characters. My Talos, they look better. When you create a character, they can actually look good, but you can still create a monstrous abomination, just like all the old Elder Scrolls characters. It's the best of both worlds. The reworked UI and graphics do have more of a Skyrim feel. I know one person who saw me playing and asked about Skyrim, and then I had to tell her that it wasn't Skyrim, but it was in the same line of games. Also, the glow-ups on main characters is impressive. Joffrey looks great, and Martin looks more like Sean Bean, so that's awesome. New animations have been added, and a lot of old animations have special things. Like fire has embers and such, and shadows, they just look a lot better. And small things look extra pretty. Like, look at how this door glows and sparkles. It's amazing. The arena looks so fucking cool. I always loved the gruesomeness of the original, but the remake I feel bumped it up. And we all have beards now. Finally, Sheogorath isn't the only one with a beard. Thank Talos. That being said, the remaster does have 10 steps forward and like 2 steps back. A lot of these next points are nitpicky, and plenty are subjective as to whether it is bad or not. But we can't not talk about it. The coloring, first off, it's just not as bright and vibrant as the original Oblivion was. Now I will say, the area you are in and the time of day do change that, and sometimes it does reach that nice green and blue of the original Oblivion, but that is only sometimes. A lot of other times, it's just as much a different coloring. And that kind of goes for clothings and armors too. Some of the reds look kind of pink now, and some of the blacks look more gray. And while many armors look better, some got butchered, like the Blackwood Company armor. Voice-wise, we kept a lot of the voice actors the same, and added some new ones, so not everyone is Wes Johnson. And while I approve, it does take out a bit of the funny. Not to mention we lost the Argonian and Khajiit voices to new ones that also sound great and fit better with present-day Elder Scrolls, but I also love the old ones as well. I kinda wish the game just had a mix of both like it does for other races. Khajiit and Argonian look a lot better now, but also Argonians can look a little bit like the dragon from Shrek. And not all the faces really fit their original characters, like Azan from Anvil. This isn't an HD version of him, this is a whole new person. You thought because he's the same race I wouldn't notice this wild change? Censorship-wise, we got some problems too. At first, I liked the new changes to the women's armor because I didn't like that metal would form around breasts, and I was like, nah, it shouldn't change at all. But Angelica Tosh actually made some really good points. Big one that got me mainly being, this is a world where women fight as much as men, and it would make sense to have armor that is crafted for the body and shape of a woman as well. And like, yeah, that is a fantastic point. She's right about that. She does have a video going over the censorship of women in the game, and it's all minor things, but still, there are very, very few minor censorships I found for men. And by very few, I mean only 3. Zombies, they have shorts now. Before, they were just naked and dickless. Much better if you ask me. But these new headless zombies say modest is hottest with some shorts now. Lucian, in the original, had his dick cut off and sewn shut. I remember being shocked by how bad they hurt him. In the remaster, well, they still fucked him up. For some reason, the Dark Brotherhood said, whoa, chopping dicks is too far. Put some underwear on the guy. I don't know why they did that. The last one you could argue if it's a censor or if it's an effect. And that's these dangling corpses. In Oblivion, the remaster version, they're always on fire, and the other one they weren't. And while this could just be an effect, it does make it so you can't see the gory details as much anymore, and now instead of letting your imagination run wild with what could have happened to these corpses, you now know it was just fire happened to these corpses. Back to other various changes, the Dark Brotherhood journal in the remaster doesn't look as insane as the original. The Dark Brotherhood door glow is gone, and in the new arena, bumping into the ceiling light doesn't make it bounce around anymore.
Grand Champion! I can't believe it's you standing here next to me.
Can I be of service?
We also have a lot of bugs. Some I got footage for, others I forgot to, but the most common I got were effects looking stuck on my character till I fast traveled a bit, the loading screens not showing my correct level, and my sword and shield often not showing up on my character in the menus despite it being equipped. Some less common ones were enemies being stuck in the terrain and followers just being naked sometimes.
Good evening, sir.
And big ones that stuck out that are constant is like the paintbrushes. Those no longer float like the original. This was a bug in the original, I'm just sad they fixed it. And for some reason, the prisoners in Paradise, they're not in their cages. This was super weird for me, because that part always stood out to me. No matter what lever I pulled, someone would be in the lava burning in the original. And so it made you feel bad because no matter what you did, they were going to be burning. Now in this new one, nobody burns. They just stand there and they make noises sometimes like someone is burning, but there is no one there burning, and I hate this. And while it seems like I am shitting on this game, let me tell you the amount of bugs is minor compared to the original Oblivion, and hopefully it will be fixed in a patch. I will say though, it is still a funny game, even if it's not as funny.
Sergeant. Psst, over here. I have a proposition for you. Best not to talk about it here. Meet me at the sewer grate, northeast of the Shergora. Come after dark. Come alone. Please, no!
You're back. Thank Talos. They attacked without warning. I was praying in the chapel when I heard Prior Maberel shout.
On usurper burned Kavach too.
Kvatch was rebuilt from. I'm just lucky to be alive.
I'm angry.
Are they angry
I want to
with us?
stay angry.
I don't know.
That anger keeps me going.
What we've done to deserve this. I just
Kvatch
can't
is finished.
sleep.
There's nothing left.
I lie
I can't
down
face it.
and
I have to
close
start
my
over from
eyes.
nothing.
Don't give up.
I
You're
can't
not
stop
alone.
thinking about
And the
it.
chapels and the elder
I
council
know what you're
will help
talking
us.
about.
Also, I always put the Adoring Fan in the stable outside my home, and I thought it was funny that someone came and asked him how his day was.
Afternoon.
How goes it?
Okay, you?
I've been better.
How about that?
Take care.
Be seeing you.
Alright, let's just start spitfiring some random stuff now. The Grey Prince is now gray, so that's neat. I didn't know I wanted that, but I guess I do. All the DLCs from the old game are here, including Shivering Isles and Knights of the Nine. Shivering Isles is fucking gorgeous. I always love it, and the Dark Seducers have enough detail. You can see the details on their skin, and I love that. This game has its own DLC, which includes 2 armors, new horse armor, for the memes of course, and 2 very mediocre quests for them. It was worth it to me though, because I hate that by the end, the bandits and some NPCs will just be decked out in great armor like Glass and Daedric, and then it makes mine feel not as unique. This lets me have a couple more options for more unique armors. Difficulty-wise, it felt easier to me than the OG Oblivion, and I realized we don't have a difficulty slider anymore, just difficulty options. I played whatever the medium mode is, the one that was directly in the middle. It wasn't very hard ever, but there were some intense moments. Kvatch felt far more intense than I remembered, as there were just so many enemies. I know it's a remaster here, so it's basically the same game, just prettier, but I do wish they changed up the bosses a little bit because they're still so easy. Some players might not even realize that, oh, that was supposed to be the big boss. Although they really boosted Marus Dagon, he looks and feels a lot more intimidating than before. Also, the remaster lets you zoom in and out of the map, which is good, but then to see the local map, you gotta zoom in and tap. I don't hate it, but I prefer the old way of just toggling between 2 maps. I also couldn't figure it out, and Gage had to show me. Same with me wanting to put items into things. You gotta press down on the thumbstick and bring up the menu. And, like, why? The old one you could just bring up both menus. Is that not better? It would just already had both menus up. Plus, the old menu had subcategories to organize items into. This remaster only has the main categories. And arrows vanish after you get hit now, instead of piling up, and you don't have 20 arrows sticking out of you. That's some bogus shit. Overall, this is a really great remaster. I know there is like 100 minor gripes I have about it, but with how big the positives are compared to how small the negatives are, I think it's an overall improvement. I don't think you understand just how much the graphics overhaul and level tweaking and those things just really boosted the game. And beards. Those 3 things really boost the game. I mean, when I play the original, that's what most of my mods were. Reworking leveling, beards, and graphical boosts. And now look, all of that in one package. And they put it on Game Pass. Game Pass is such a hell of a deal. I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm just blown away by how great it is. Now, I prefer to buy my games so that I have them, but Game Pass I treat like rentals, and I buy it for a few months, then I leave it, and I come back again when they got more I want. But this is worth your money. Whether you get it on Game Pass or just straight up buy it, it is worth your money. And with some updates and patches, I'm sure some of the minor issues I had will be fixed. This is the skeleton of Oblivion with a new and prettier skin. It's amazing just how much it feels like Oblivion. This is a solid remaster, well worth the money, whether you're a new or old player. And while I think the game is mostly better, the menu system I would say is worse, and there's still plenty that needs fixes.